أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu and welcome to today's class. I hope you're all doing well inshallah. Just before we start, a couple of class rules to remind you of. Please make sure that you are logged in with your correct IDs. If you are logged in with your incorrect ID, you may find yourself in the waiting room and you will be asked to re-enter with the correct ID. Also, please make sure that your videos remain off, that you are sitting in a nice and quiet place, and then when you are called to the mic, you respond quickly. Okay? And of course, please make sure that you do not raise your hands unless you are asked to do so by myself or the discipline in charge. Okay? So as you can see in the contents page in front of you, and as explained in yesterday's class, this week will be a revision week. Okay, so in today's class we will be a revision lesson, and we will be covering 4 surahs and going over various rules in the process to remind you all, and so that you can apply those rules to any given surah in the Holy Quran. Okay, so the 4 surahs that we will be covering today are Surah Al-Kafirun, Surah Al-Ma'un, Surah Quraysh, and Surah Al-Kawthar if we have time at the end. Okay, and the rules that we will be revising are all listed here in front of you. So Mim Sakin, Waqf on consonant preceded by letter of Mad, Tashdid, clear sound Noon Sakin or Tanween, and also vertical strokes. Okay, so these are all rules that we will be having a look at in today's class. And as always, all this material can be found in your Tashilul-Qur'an books, second edition, as well as on the NQC website in the class material section. Okay, so let's move on, and can we please have a student on the mic to recite our prayer?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Our first student is A7409.
Jazakumullah. Walaikum salam. Okay, I'm going to ask you to help me read the prayer. So please, let's start from here. Repeat after me. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
اللهم إني
اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا.
Okay, well done. Excellent. So you didn't need my help there, which was really nice, and you read really nicely. Okay, and can you read the translation for me now?
Oh Allah, I ask you for beneficial knowledge.
Well done. Excellent. And that's from Ibn Majah, hadith number 925. Excellent. Well done. Jazakumullah for your help. So, like I said, in today's class, we will be revising some surahs that you have already gone through in your previous classes. But the difference now in this revision week will be that not only will we be focusing on one rule at a time, but we will now be applying all the rules that we have learnt so far in our classes, and applying them to the surahs that we will be covering during the lessons. Okay, and of course I will be asking students to come onto the mic to help me with the rules, so that I know that you are understanding the rules properly, and also of course students to come on the mic to recite the surahs. Okay, so the first surah that I have in front of me is Surah Al-Kafirun. And of course, I've highlighted some rules that I wish to go through in this surah, and draw your attention to. So what I'd like to do first of all is I'd like to please call a student onto the mic, and I'd like them to recite a portion of this surah for me.
Okay, N8380.
N8380, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Okay, so just before we go on to actually reciting the whole surah, I'm going to go over a couple of rules that I'd like you to pay close attention to whilst you're reciting. So what I'd like you to do is, could you please read Dawud and Tasmiyah and then start from this verse over here?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Excellent. So just this verse over here, please.
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
Okay, excellent. Well done. So ignoring this highlighted bit over here, let's look at this noon sakin. Okay, so now what you did was really beautiful. You held your sound, a partial nasal sound, when you said this. Okay, and could you tell me why you did that? Could you tell me which rule you applied over here when you said antum?
Because you have to look at the next letter.
Yes. Yep, go on. You
It
have to look at the next letter and do what?
tells you if you need to do it 2 seconds.
Okay, well done. Excellent. And do you know what the rule is called?
Nasal sound.
It is a nasal sound. Well done. Excellent. Okay, so just to remind everybody of this rule, the rule is reading with a light nasal sound with the noon sakin and tanween. Okay, so the rule is that when you see noon sakin or tanween, what you do, like you said, excellent, look at the next letter. Okay, so if the next letter, you ask yourself, is it a mushaddad letter? Is it a ba, or is it one of these 7 letters? Okay, so you have to look at that, and if the answer to those questions is no, then a 2-second light nasal sound is produced. Okay, so these are the questions you should be asking yourself whenever you see a noon sakin. Like you said, you look at the next letter, you ask yourself, is it a mushaddad? Is it a ba, or is it any one of these letters? If not, then you produce a nasal sound of 2 seconds. Okay, so could you, are you still on the mic?
Yes.
If you could please read, how would you recite this?
فإن زللتم.
Well done, excellent. So what you did over here, you looked at the noon sakin and you looked at the next letter, which is za. Now over here, za is not a mushaddad letter, it's not ba, and it's neither one of these letters. So that is why when you say this noon sakin, you do so with a partial nasal sound for 2 seconds. Fa'in, like that. Excellent. Okay. Now over here, this is an example of when tanween is there. Okay, so on top of the meme you can see a tanween, and the next letter is za. Now over here, za neither is a mushaddad letter or any of those letters. That's why when you produce the sound of the tanween, you do so with a 2-second light nasal sound. So could you try and say this for me now?
قوم ظلموا.
Excellent. Well done. That was really nicely read. Okay. So now in the Quran, there are various places where you will have to look at the next letter to see what sound you have to make. Okay. And this is one of those examples. So whenever you see Noon Sakin, you have to look at the next letter to see what sound you will be making. Okay. So it's very, very important that first of all, you must, if you don't know already, you must learn these letters here in this column. Okay, alif or hamza, ha, ain, ha, ghain or kha. Okay, these are the letters that you just have to learn. Okay, and once that's in your mind, it will become easier for you to apply this rule. Okay, so over here in this surah, you have 2 places. So one is over here and one is over here, where there is a noon sakin, and the next letter is not a mushaddad letter, it's not a ba or any of those 6 letters. So that's why we produce a nasal sound, which we hold in our nose for 2 seconds. So like you did very nicely, you said this as antum. Okay, now in this example over here, in this verse, again, could you try and say this for me? How would you pronounce this?
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
Excellent. Well done. You're reading really, really nicely. So, like you did very nicely, 2-second partial nasal sound over here as well. Okay, so that's two places in Surah Al-Kafirun where the rule of a 2-second nasal sound after a noon sakin is produced. Okay, well done. Excellent. Jazakumullah for your help.
جزاك
Now, the next rule I'd like to draw your attention to can be found in this last verse over here, and I've highlighted it over here. Okay, so if we could please have a student on the mic.
Yes. A7400.
A7400. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Okay, so before I explain anything, what I'd like you to do is just read this verse for me how you think it should be read. Okay, so read Tawud and Tasmiyah and then start from here, please.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لكم دينكم ولي دين.
Waliyadeen. Excellent.
Waliya-
Well done. Excellent. Well done. Now I've highlighted this meme sakin. Could you think of why I've highlighted this meme sakin?
Because it has a sukoon on it.
It does have a sukoon on it, but whenever meme has a sukoon on it, what do we look at?
Next letter.
The next letter. Excellent. Well done. So can you remember what rule this is, that when it's a meme sakin, we have to look at the next rule?
Light nasal.
Okay, yes, when there is a meme sakin, there are some instances where we do have to produce a nasal sound, but there are other instances when we don't. Okay, so just to remind you all, this is the rule of clear pronunciation meme sakin, or some of you may also remember it as izhar meme sakin. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at this rule. Okay, so the rule is clear pronunciation, meme sakin. When you see meme sakin, you look at the next letter. Okay, so just like with noon sakin, you look at the next letter, with meme sakin, you also do that. Okay, now if the next letter, what you have to ask yourself is the next letter a meme or is it a ba? Okay, if the answer to both those questions is no, then meme sakin is a clear sound, so no nasal sound will be produced. So the only time you produce a nasal sound with meme sakin is if the next letter is meme or ba. Okay, so that's something you have to be very careful of. Okay, so if you're still on the mic, could you try and read this for me?
Okay. Lam.
Yes, well done. So over here you can see this is meme sakin, and the next letter, it's not a meme, it's not a ba, it's a lam. So that's why no nasal sound will be produced. Okay, so I would say amlam. Well done.
Amlam.
Excellent. So now, do you want to try this, please?
Okay. Lahum fiha.
Okay, just make sure this is ya madda. So stretch the sound out for a bit longer. Fiha.
Okay. Lahum fiha.
Well done. Excellent. That's really good. Okay. So what you do not linger, you do not stay on the sound of meme. It's just simply hum and then you move on. Okay. And could you try the next example for us?
An'amta.
Well done. Excellent. And the next one?
Lakum.
Lakum. Excellent. Well done. Now in this surah over here, so Surah Al-Kafirun, we have 3 examples where we have to look at meme sakin and produce a clear sound. Okay, the first example is over here where my hand is. So meme sakin, the next letter is ayn. So it's not a meme, it's not a ba. So when I say this, I would say tum. Okay, I would not linger on the sound of meme. The same thing is over here, meme sakin. the next letter is not a meme or a ba, so clear sound of meme produced here. And then of course the last one is over here, which you just did. So meme sakin, the next letter is not a meme, it's not a ba, so clear pronunciation of meme sakin will be applied over here. Okay, so well done, excellent. So when you read this really nicely, and you did not linger on the sound of meme sakin. Okay, excellent, well done. Jazakumullah for your help.
Jazakallah.
So that was the rule of ikhfa noon sakin and izhar meme sakin, or clear pronunciation meme sakin. Okay, now another rule that I wish to just point out quickly is found at the end of the verses. Okay, so a lot of the verses end with this rule, so it's a good thing to just recap it. And the rule being applied is the rule of waqf on consonant after letter of mad. Okay, now in yesterday's class with your teacher, you revised which are the madda letters. Okay, and you know that the madda letters are alif, waw, and ya. Okay, so first of all, let's have a look at this first verse over here. You can see that the last letter is noon, and it carries the stroke of fatha. Now we know that when when the last letter in the verse carries the stroke of fatha and you want to pause, the fatha changes into a sukoon. Okay. Now before that, you can see that you have a waw madda. Okay. Now over here it's waw madda because the letter before it is dhamma, and then you have a waw sakin. Okay. Now, usually when you are producing the sound of mud letters, then you only produce a sound of 2 seconds. Okay, but when you are pausing after a mud letter, then you are allowed to prolong your sound for longer than 4 seconds, for longer than 2 seconds, and up to 6 seconds. Okay, so let's quickly revise that rule just to remind you all. So, waqf at consonant when preceded by letter of mad. Okay, preceded means when it comes after something. Okay, so waqf at consonant when preceded by letter of mad, when the letter before it is a mad. Okay, now when a waqf is observed on a consonant that comes after a letter of mad, then prolonged by 2-4 seconds. Timing depends on mode of recitation. Okay, this is also known as maddul waqf, temporary elongation due to a pause. So what this is saying, that you can choose to elongate the sound of the mud for about 2 to 6 seconds, depending on your mode of recitation. Okay, so if I just read this, I could, when I'm ending my verse over here, I could read this as kafirun. Okay, so I'm still producing the same sound, but I'm stretching my sound out for a bit longer than 2 seconds. Okay, so you can choose to do that. All right, so you can choose to do it for 2 seconds, you can choose to do it for longer than that, but no longer than 6 seconds. Okay, so that's something that is being applied to a lot of the verses in this surah. So you can see over here again, I could stretch that sound out for about 6 seconds if I wanted to, and depending on if I have the breath to do it as well. Okay, and as well over here, you can see again, ya madda you have over here, and of course this kasra would turn into a sukoon. So when I join these 3 letters together, I can elongate my sound out for about up to 6 seconds. Okay, so these are the rules that I'd like you to especially focus on, as well as the basic rules of timing and pronunciation that I'd like you to focus on when you come onto the mic to recite this surah. Okay, so could we please have a student on the mic?
Yes, next Nasra is N8369.
Jazakumullah. N8369. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is I will ask you to please read the whole surah, bearing in mind all the rules that I've just gone through. Okay, so if you could please start from Dawood.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Okay, so over here, just to point out, when you join the noon to the sheen, do so with force, okay? Minash shaitanir rajim.
من الشيطان الرجيم.
Well done, excellent. Let's carry on, please.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Excellent, let's carry on.
قل يا أيها الكافرون.
Okay, well done. So if you wanted to and you had the breath, you could elongate that sound out for even longer. Okay, but it's up to you. So minimum 2 seconds and of course maximum 6 seconds. Okay, so let's carry on.
لا أعبد ما تعبدون.
Okay, now over here, just make sure you do not stretch the sound out of dal for too long. Simple dal with dhamma, do. Okay, so try that one more time and try to elongate your sound a bit longer at the end as well, just to make sure.
لا أعبد ما تعبدون.
Okay, well done. Still over here, make sure that you are not saying a'budu. That would be wrong, okay? Make sure you're saying a'budu. So once again, please.
لا أعبد ما تعبدون.
Okay, longer, stretch it out for longer. Doon.
دون.
Okay, just take a deep breath and say doon.
دون.
Okay, well done. Let's carry on.
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
Okay, now do you remember this rule that we just covered over here, the noon sakin rule? So I just went over it a while ago. So I said that when you have noon sakin, you look at the next letter. If it's not a mushaddad letter, it's not one of the six letters in the table, then you have to produce a nasal sound for 2 seconds. So I would say this as tum.
أنتم.
Okay, so try this verse again, please.
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
A'bud.
أعبد.
Okay, the ayn sound. A'bud.
أعبد.
Well done, much better, okay? Just remember that nasal sound you have to produce because of the noon sakin, okay? Let's carry on now.
ولا أنا عابدون ثم عبدتم.
Okay, well done. Over here, this one is an exception because you have to say ana. Okay, do not stretch the na out for more than 1 second. Ana abidum ma abattum.
أنا
Start again.
ولا أنا عابد ثم عبدتم.
Abattum. Okay, well done. Remember your gunna sound over here. Dum ma abattum.
ثم عبدتم.
Okay, well done. Let's carry on.
ولا أنتم عابدون دون ما أعبد.
Okay, well done. Excellent. But again, remember noon sakin, the ikhfa noon sakin, the partial nasal sound, 2-second nasal sound that you have to produce with the noon sakin. Antum.
أنتم.
Yes, so noon sakin, you look at the next letter. If it's not a mushaddad letter, it's not the letter ba, or it's not one of the 6 izhar letters, then you have to produce a 2-second nasal sound over here. Okay, just remember that. Let's carry on.
لكم دينكم ولي الدين.
Okay, now over here, this is a meme sakin, and the next letter is not a meme or a ba, so this would be a clear meme sakin sound. Lakum dinukum.
Lakum dinukum.
Okay, what I mean by that is you do not hold the sound of meme. Okay, so you simply say it and you carry on. Okay, and this is ya sakin, ya mad, so dinukum, like that. Okay, and of course at the end, if you wish to do so, you can stretch the sound out of deen for up to 6 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I know there's a lot of rules to remember and remind yourselves of, but these are all rules that we have been going through again and again. So please do make sure that you revise so that you are able to understand the rules and apply them. Okay, perfect. Jazakumullah for your help. That was really good. Now let's move on to the next surah. Okay, so the next surah that I have in front of me is Surah Al-Ma'un. Okay, now in this surah, again, I have highlighted some rules. So could I please have a student on the mic quickly?
Yes, A7377.
Jazakumullah. A7377, Assalamu alaikum. A7377, you have the mic. Assalamu alaikum.
Um,
Okay,
okay,
let's,
yeah, A7369.
A7369, Assalamu alaikum. A7369, Assalamu alaikum. Okay, let's
Okay,
move on.
A7403.
A7403, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam. Is your ID A7403?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Okay, so like I said, the next surah that I have in front of me is Surah Al-Ma'un. So what I have highlighted, can you see these little highlighted sections over here? And
Yeah.
you can see this miniature W sign. Could you tell me what
Yes.
this sign is, what the name of this sign is?
Called the madda.
Okay, are you sure? It sounds like a madda, but it's not a madda.
I forgot.
Okay, I think you're confusing it yourself a little bit. It's a shadda. Okay, so it sounds like a madda, you're absolutely right, but the little W looking sign is called a shadda. Okay.
I'm trying to say that, but I forgot the name of it.
Oh, okay, no problem. That's fine. I know because madda and shadda sound quite similar, so it's easy to confuse yourself. That's no problem. So shadda is the name of this sign, and it's also called a tashdid. Okay, so those are both names of this little sign up here. Okay, and can you tell me what the letter with a shadda on it is called?
A mushaddad letter.
Yes, excellent. Well done. So it's called a mushaddad letter. Okay. So for example, over here, what would this letter be called?
Alam mushaddad letter.
Excellent. Well done. Perfect. So that's the correct answer over here. This lam would be called a lam mushaddad because it has a shadda or a tashdid on it. Okay. Excellent. Well done. And just to remind ourselves of the rule of tashdid, let's remind ourselves through these revision slides. You can see that it says a tashdid is also known as shadda. It is a small W-shaped sign, and a letter carrying a shadda is called a mushaddad, which you said as well. Okay. Now you must press down on mushaddad letters. Don't rush through reading them, but we must show emphasis and press down on the mushaddad letters. Okay, so for example over here, could you tell me how to pronounce this?
Rabbi.
Yes, Rabbi. Could you say that again?
Oh, Rabbi.
Well done. And this one?
Saddaqa.
Yes, so you're saying it very nicely. You're pressing down on the mushaddad letter and not rushing through it. So saddaqa.
Saddaqa.
And this one?
حبا
Excellent. Hubban.
حبا
And this one?
فرت
Yes. Farrat.
فرت.
Yes. So this mushaddad letter, you press down on it and then you join it softly with the sakin letter. Okay, excellent. Well done. So in Surah Al-Ma'un, there are several examples of mushaddad letters, and this is something that you have to be very careful of when you're reciting. Okay, so that's something I'd like you to look out for when you're going through this surah. Okay, well done. Excellent. Jazakumullah A7403. That was really nicely done. Now, the next rule in this surah that I'd like to highlight is clear pronunciation of mim sakin. Okay, so we also saw this rule in Surah Al-Kafirun, and it needs to be applied in this surah as well. Okay, so let's have a student on the mic, please.
N8387.
N8387. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. So what I'd like you to do is please read this last verse for me. Okay, so read Tawud and Tasmiya and read this last verse.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويمنعون الماعون.
Okay, excellent. Well done. So what you did there was you did not linger or you did not stay on the sound of the meme. Okay, so you simply said yum and then you moved on. Okay, so you did not say wa yamnaun al maun. Okay, so that would be wrong. You wouldn't linger or you wouldn't stay on the sound of meme sakin. You would simply say it and then move on. Okay, and this is, could you tell me again what rule this is?
Is it meme sakin?
Yes, it is the rule of meme sakin, but special type of meme sakin. Did you remember?
I'm not sure.
Okay, it's called the rule of clear pronunciation of meme sakin. Okay, or some students may have remembered as izhar meme sakin. Okay, so that means that you do not linger on the sound of meme sakin, because what you do is whenever you see a meme sakin, you look at the next letter. If it's not a meme and not a ba, then you do not produce a nasal sound. You do not stay on the sound of the meme. Okay, so this is one example. Another example of clear pronunciation meme sakin is also found in this verse where my hand is. Okay, and also over here in this verse over here, you can see after the ha you have meme sakin, and the next letter is not a meme, not a ba, the pronunciation meme sakin. And then once again you can see that again after this ha you have meme sakin, the next letter not a meme, not a ba, so this is a clear pronunciation meme sakin. Okay, so we have to be careful of that. So you would read this as hum and this as him. Okay, well done. Excellent. And the other thing I also want to point out whilst you're on the mic is okay, if I could please ask you to just read this verse for me as well now.
الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون.
Try this again. Sahun.
Sahun.
Okay, well done. So these two meme sakins, like we just said, these are clear pronunciation meme sakin. So you do not produce a gunna sound. You do not produce a nasal sound for these memes. Okay. Now for this noon sakin, you have to produce a 2-second nasal sound. Could you tell me why?
I think it's a noon sakin.
Yes, it's a noon sakin. But when you have a noon sakin, what do? You
look at the letter after.
Yes, and what's the next letter?
A sad.
Yes, excellent. So the next letter is not a mushaddad or any of the izhar, 6 izhar letters. So that's why when we say this, when we join the ayn to the noon, we have to do so with a 2-second nasal sound. Okay, so let's quickly remind ourselves of the rule that we are just covering. Over here you can see that when you have noon sakin or tanween, you look at the next letter. If it's not a mushaddad or a ba or any one of these letters in this table over here, then a 2-second light nasal sound is produced. So how would you say this now? Yes, excellent. Okay, well done. Excellent. Okay, so that's something we need to be careful of as well. Jazakumullah for your help. You read really nicely. And Jazakumullah. Okay, and the final thing that I'd like to point out in this surah is at the end of actually each of these verses, you can see that that there is a letter of mud preceding the last consonant. So what that means is, let me get my highlighter. So over here you can see that, for example, at the end of the first second verse over here, you can see that there is a letter of mud, so ya madda over here. So that's why you can apply the rule of stretching the sound out for about 2 to 6 seconds, just like we did with our previous surah, Surah Al-Ghafirun. Okay, so I can say this as Biddeen. Okay, so I can stretch my sound out for about 2 to 6 seconds. Okay, so and then the same thing would apply over here. I could stretch this sound out for about 6 seconds. Theme, and it would apply over here as well. Over here, here, and this last verse as well. Okay, because the letter before the consonant is a mud letter, that's why we are allowed to prolong our sound out for about 2 to 6 seconds. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll have a student on the mic to recite this whole surah for us.
Next student is A7406.
A7406, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay, I'm going to ask you to recite Surah Al-Ma'un. So could you please start from Dawood?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, so just before you start reading, just make sure that you're remembering all the rules that I have just mentioned as well. Okay, so let's start from this first.
أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين.
Excellent, well done. So all the mushaddad letters you pronounced very nicely, and then at the end as well you stretched your sound out very nicely as well. Okay, let's carry on.
فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم.
Excellent, well done. That was really nicely read. Again, at the end over here, you are allowed to stretch for more than 2 seconds. You can stretch for up to 6 seconds if you wish, because of this madda over here, and you're pausing at the end of it. Okay, let's carry on.
ولا يحض على طعام المسكين.
Okay, well done. Just one thing to point out over here, I highlighted this because you did not stretch the sound out of lam for long enough. Because of this alif madda over here, you have to stretch the sound out for 2 seconds. Wala.
ولا
Carry on.
يحض على طعام المسكين.
Okay, well done. Just a quick reminder to remember your thick sounding letters. So this is a thick sounding letter. Okay, so is ta. It's also a thick sounding letter. So when you say it with a rounded, thick sound. Okay, so these are all basic rules that we have done in the beginning of this course as well as in the G1 course. So just remind yourselves of that as well. Okay, let's carry on.
فويل للمصلين.
Excellent, well done. So these is a really important bit because you're joining 3 letters together, and you did that really well. Let's carry on.
الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون.
Okay, now over here, I think these 2 memes, over here, you do not linger on the sound of meme. Okay, so you do not say hum or him. You're going to say hum and him. So you're not going to sound the nasal sound on the meme. So because the next letter is not a meme or a ba, that's why this would be a clear pronunciation, meme sakin. So hum an salatihim sahun. So start from here, please.
الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون.
Okay, that was much better. But again, you forgot to stretch the lam sound out for 2 seconds. Salatihim.
صلاتهم.
Okay, well done. So in this verse, you're remembering the rule of clear meme sakin, clear pronunciation of meme sakin, and 2-second nasal sound for the noon sakin, because the next letter is sod. Okay, let's carry on.
الذين هم يراءون.
Well done, excellent. So over here, this is again clear pronunciation meme sakin. So you did not stay on the sound of meme sakin for too long, which was perfect. Hum, simply like that. Okay, let's carry on.
ويمنعون الماعون.
Excellent, well done. So again, meme sakin, clear pronunciation would be applied over here as well, which you did wonderfully. Okay, excellent, well done. Like I said, a lot of rules to remember, but the more you practice, the easier it will become, inshallah. Okay, excellent, well done, jazakumullah.
جزاك.
Okay, so let's move on to our next surah, which is Surah Quraysh. And again, I've highlighted some sections from this surah that I'd like to highlight to you as well. So let's have a student on the mic, please.
N8406.
N8406, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay, so before we carry on to reading this surah, I'd like you to please tell me the name of this stroke over here on top of the lam.
Is it a fatha?
Okay, it's not a fatha, but it's a different type of fatha. So it's a
Standing?
it is a standing fatha, but it's also called a vertical fatha. Okay, so it's a vertical fatha because vertical means upright and straight, and this is an upright and straight fatha, so it's called a vertical fatha. Okay, now can you tell me what this is called?
Is that a vertical dhamma?
Okay, not a vertical dhamma, but where is it found? Where is it positioned? On top of or underneath the letter?
Underneath the letter.
So which stroke comes underneath the letter?
Oh, kasra, sorry.
Yes,
So
excellent.
it's a vertical kasra.
Yes, it's a vertical kasra. Excellent. So these are strokes that are very commonly found in the whole of the Holy Quran, but especially as well in this surah. You can see that vertical fatha, I've highlighted them, and you can see that there's quite a few highlighted places. Vertical fatha is found quite a lot in this surah. Vertical kasra as well is found. And there is another type of like you said, you have dhamma, but then you also have inverted dhamma. Okay, now in this surah, you do not have an example of inverted dhamma, but inverted dhamma is also part of this group. Okay, and anything with a vertical fatha, vertical kasra, or inverted dhamma, could you tell me how long I should pronounce it for?
2 seconds.
2 seconds. Excellent. Well done. That was really, really good. So just remember that whilst you are going over this surah today as well. Okay, and another rule that I'd like to focus on in this surah as well is the rule of lean. Okay, now just to remind you all learnt this rule of lean in your G1 classes as well. There are two leans. So there is ya lean and there is waw lean. Now ya lean is when you have ya sakin and the letter before it carries a fatha, and waw lean is when when you have waw sakin and the letter before it has a fatha. Okay, now lean is another type of madda. Okay, so as you can see over here at the end of these verses, you can see that this is ya sakin and the letter before it, ra, has a fatha. So can you tell me how you would pronounce this?
Ray.
Yes, excellent. Ray. And how would you pronounce this?
Say.
Yes, so wasay.
Wasay.
And how would you pronounce this?
Bay.
Excellent. Excellent. Well done. And this one?
Joe.
Okay, let's see where the dot is.
Oh, How.
Yes, excellent. So this is the letter kha. So khaw. Okay. Now because yes, well done. Now because lean is another type of madda, the rule that we have been covering in the previous two surahs as well, which is of pausing at a consonant with a madda letter before it, also applies over here. So that means that when you are stopping and pausing at these verses where you have lean, you can also elongate the sound for up to 6 seconds. Okay, so you can also say this as this tanween, as we know, will turn into a sukoon. So this would be reish. Okay, so you can prolong that sound of lean for up to 6 seconds. Okay,
Yeah.
so this, you can say this as was-safe. Okay, so you can
Wasay.
excellent. Well done. And you can say this again, please.
Bay.
And if you're pausing over here, how would you say this?
Bay.
Yes, bait. Okay, well done. So this is just to explain that even when you have a lean at the end of the verse and you're pausing, then that rule of prolonging that sound out for about up to 6 seconds can still be applied, because lean is another type of mud. Okay, so these are the rules that I just wanted to cover before we start reading. Okay, so Jazakumullah N8406 for your help. Can we have another student on the mic?
Yes, A7409.
A7409, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to help me read this surah, starting from Tawuz.
I've already had a go.
Have you? All right, no worries. Let's have another student, please.
He just had did the opening prayer.
Okay. So because you only had the opening prayer, we'll like you to give you the opportunity to recite from the Holy Quran. So if you could please start from here.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Well done. Excellent. So just bearing in mind all the rules that I've just said to you, let's start from here.
لإيلاف قريش.
Okay, well done. So you stretch the sound out of lam for 2 seconds because of the vertical fatha, which was perfect. And over here at the end, like I said, you can try and elongate the sound out for more than 2 seconds, up to 6 seconds. Okay, so when you say this, try and say it as Quraysh. So start from here, please.
لإيلاف قريش.
Perfect. Excellent. So what that allows is it helps to make your recitation more beautiful as well. Okay, so that helps with that. So let's start again from here.
إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف.
Okay, well done. Just a couple of things over here. This is rihla, not rehla. Okay, just be mindful the ra has a kasra underneath it, so we have to be careful of that. And also the first two letters in this verse, alif and lam. Alif has a vertical kasra, lam has a vertical fatha. So both of these letters need to be prolonged for 2 seconds. So try that again now.
إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف.
Excellent. That was much, much better. Well done. Excellent. Okay. So everybody just make sure that when you're reading this, it's a common mistake that that is easy to make, but we must remember that ra has a kasra, so it's rihlat ash-shita was-sayf. Okay. So we just need to be careful of that. Let's carry on.
فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت.
Excellent. Well done. So you stretch that sound out for a bit longer than 2 seconds, which was really, really good. Okay, so like I said, according to the mode of your recitation, how you're reciting, how much breath you have left, at the end, you can, if you would like, stretch it out for up to 6 seconds. Let's carry on.
الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف.
Okay, excellent. Well done. That was really good. Over here, this ya madda also has a mud on top. So we have to stretch this sound out for about 3 to 5 seconds. Alladhi.
الذي
Carry on.
الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف.
Khawf. Excellent. Well done. That was really nicely read. And you stretched, you applied the rule of the vertical fatha and the vertical kasra where it needed to, which was excellent. Okay. Well done. That was really nicely read. Jazakumullah for your help. Okay, so we still have a bit of time. So what I'd do is I like to go over this last surah as well, which is Surah Al-Kawthar. Now, in this surah, I've highlighted one instance over here of where this noon sakin, it would be an izhar noon sakin. So let's quickly revise this rule. So, as you can see over here, clear pronunciation, noon sakin and tanween. When you see noon sakin or tanween, we know that we have to look at the next letter. If it's one of these letters, so alif, hamza, ha, ain, ha, ghain or kha, then noon sakin or tanween is a clear sound, so no nasal sound will be produced. So these are all examples. So as you can see over here, after this noon sakin, you have a hamza, and hamza is one of these letters in this table, is har letters in this table. So that means that when we join the ya to the noon, on the noon we produce no nasal sound. So we would say yan aun. This is supposed to be a fatha, so yan auna. Okay, over here you can see noon sakin again. The next letter is alif, and alif is one of the izhar letters, so that means that we do not produce a nasal sound on the noon. Man amana. Okay, so these are examples of where a clear pronunciation will be produced. Okay, no nasal sound. Now in this Surah Al-Kawthar, you can see that over here, you can see that after this noon sakin, you have ha. Okay, now ha is one of the izhar letters, or it is one of the letters. Over here you can see ha is one of the letters found in this table. And so that means that when we join this to the noon, waw to the noon, we produce no nasal sound on the noon sakin. So this would simply be one har. Okay, so you are producing no nasal sound when you are saying this noon sakin. Okay, now this surah is quite simple, and it is basically about applying all the basic rules that you have already learnt. For example, with the thick ra, remember your thick letters, you have to be careful of that. Wherever you see a thick letter, we have to produce a thick and heavy sound. Over here, ra with a fatha, thick and heavy sound, because ra has a fatha on it. And of course, remember your kalkala, and you have been going through this several times in your previous classes, so I won't go through it too much, but we need to remember that as well. Okay, so if you could please quickly have a student on the mic.
N8379.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay, so I'm going to quickly ask you to recite Surah Al-Kawthar for me, so starting from Tawud.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Well done. Just to make sure, this lam will not be a thick lam because the letter before it has a kasra. So it will simply be millah, not millah. Okay, that would be wrong. Okay, well done. Excellent. Let's carry on.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر
Well done.
فصل لربك وانهر.
Okay, over here, this is fa with a fatha. So, fa solli. Okay, fa solli li.
فصل لربك
Carry on.
وانهر.
Excellent. So the clear pronunciation of the noon sakin is being applied here, which you did wonderfully. Excellent. And let's carry on.
إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
Okay, the ha over here, simple ha with a dhamma, so hu. Okay, and over here the kalkala, so abtar, you're bouncing off the sound of the ba. Okay, abtar, like that. And also gunna sound always applied to a noon mushaddad. So inna, which you did really nicely. Of course, over here as well, inna, like that as well. Okay, so the gunna sound, just be careful of that. And of course, kalkala that you have gone over several times in your classes previously. So remember the kalkala rule as well when you are reading this surah. Okay, well done. Otherwise, you read really, really nicely. Okay, excellent. Well done. Jazakumullah for your help.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. So for your homework, in today's class, of course, we have gone over some surahs to help us revise the rules. So for the homework, please revise those surahs that we have covered in today's class and understand what rules are being applied. Okay, so the surahs today we covered were Surah Al-Kafirun, Surah Al-Kawthar, Surah Al-Ma'un, and Surah Quraysh. Okay, chapter 106 to 109 in the Holy Quran. Okay, now it's important that if you don't know already, like I said during the class as well, to please learn the 6 letters of clear pronunciation of Noon, Sakin or Tanween. Okay, and just to remind you all, these are the letters Alif, Hamza, Ha, Ain, Ha, Ghain and Kha, found on page 114 of the Tashilul-Qur'an book. So that's where you can find the letters from. Okay, so make sure you apply all the rules in recitation. You learn the letters of clear pronunciation for Noon, Sakin and Tanween as well. Okay, and like I said, page 114 is where you can find these letters of clear pronunciation. Okay, and as always, timing is extremely important, and so is pronunciation. So please make sure that you do your homework by revising and understanding the rules that we have covered in today's class. Okay, so we will now end with a prayer. So could I please have a student on the mic?
A7403.
Assalamu alaikum, A7403.
I've been already, but as always, you always say that if you did a surah, you're allowed to do a prayer.
Yes, so you will be doing a prayer, okay? Because you've already read a surah, so now you can do a prayer. Okay, so if you just repeat after me, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
اللهم ارحمني
اللهم ارحمني
بالقرآن العظيم.
بالقرآن العظيم.
Excellent. And can you read the translation for us now, please?
O Allah, have mercy on me through the great Quran.
Perfect. Excellent. Jazakumullah for your participation, and Jazakumullah to everybody who's joined us in today's class. Please make sure that you do your homework, and inshallah see you all again same time tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.